Welcome to Falls Count Anywhere, where the wrestling ring meets the heart. Hosted by the gentleman Jody Powell, join us as we dive into the latest pro wrestling news and rumors, from the electrifying world of WWE to the inspiring stories of wrestling for Christ. This is your all-access pass to the action, the faith, and the hope. This is Falls Count Anywhere.
Wrestling fans, and welcome to Falls Count Anywhere. I'm your host, the gentleman Jody Powell. With me, as always, the mad scientist Mike Buchanan.
Whoa. Not deep.
Not deep in the Buchanan laboratory, buddy? What's going on?
Well, Uncle Sam decided that I wasn't one of his favorite nephews anymore. So with the shutdown, they cut funding. So you probably didn't know I did work for the government, did you?
Wait a minute. The Buchanan laboratory is part of the government machine?
Yes.
What?
Yes.
So the government shutdown has shut down our lab.
And if they don't open it back up, that's going to be the next thing I work freelance in the lab, is how to reopen the government.
Well, maybe it has something to do with like Wile E. Coyote and the Acme company and some red sticks and a little thing that blow it all up and start over. Oh man, well, I did not realize that the Buchanan laboratory had such far-reaching implications. National security, top level clearance, are you, Mikey buddy?
Well, if I told you, I'd have to kill you and do a mind erase on all of our viewers.
Keep it to yourself then, because I don't want any part of that. The government shutdown, man, you're crazy. Okay, well, speaking of things that need to be shut down.
Oh, no lie.
Let's get into a little bit of WWE updates here, because fans, we are actually a couple of days out from the big pay-per-view in Perth, Crown Jewel, and you say, no, that happened Saturday, this is Monday. Well, we're recording this episode before it happened, so we have no idea what happened at Crown Jewel. But I do want to talk about some things, Mike, because there were some things that happened on Monday Night Raw last week that I want to discuss, and there were just some things that I think prove the point that the creative in WWE, they're just swinging and missing. And I'll give you the perfect example. So we saw Roman Reigns on WWE come out and first lead off the show. Roman Reigns, comes out, doesn't get a word in until he's interrupted. And then here comes Bronson Reed. Bronson Reed and Paul Heyman come out, right? And so when Bronson Reed and Paul Heyman come out, we learn that the revisionist historians in the WWE have decided that this was the first time Roman Reigns has ever been taken out on a stretcher.
Wow.
And Paul Heyman makes this big to-do about Bronson Reed being the first one to cause Roman Reigns to be wheeled out on a stretcher. And I think Braun Strowman may have something to say about that.
Maybe invention went to his WWE creative, so they altered time for us.
Apparently, it's the only thing worse than a wrestling timeline is a soap opera timeline.
Try comic books, but that's another matter.
Comic books are right up there too. You're right. But yeah. So here we are talking about Roman Reigns getting stretchered out, and you've got Bronson Reed just so gloating over the fact that he hurt Roman so bad that he was stretchered out and all of this, and I'm thinking, okay, this is leading somewhere, right? This is leading towards Crown Jewel. This is leading, if we have to have a Roman Reigns versus a Bronson Reed match, if we have to, fine, let's have one, because this is leading somewhere. I mean, surely WWE is leading this to a stretcher match, right? Wrong. That is not what they do. They throw out an Australian street fight match. What? What is that, Mike? Do you know? Does
I didn't know there were a whole
know?
lot of streets in Australia. I could
mean,
say a couple other things, but it wouldn't be appropriate. I feel like Australian is just the word for Chicago street fight when it used to be the Road Warriors or Texas Deathmatch. Only, as you pointed out before we went on the air, Texas Deathmatch was. Wait, wasn't there a Punjabi Deathmatch with Khalil, the big dude from India?
Great Khali, yeah. No, that was a Punjabi prison match. That's when they just tied a bunch of bamboos together and tried to mimic the cell with bamboo. That was
Hey, maybe that's what they should do when they get back to Raw, is to enclose the ring with something until people start caring about him again.
I mean, they can just tear the rings down and not set them up anymore at this point. It just this was a softball. The ball was on the tee.
Oh, yeah.
All you had to do was hit it. You're talking about the stretcher. You're talking about stretching him out. Even the cousin of the stretcher match, you could have done an ambulance match. It's something that related to this gregarious bragging session of how Bronson Reed was the first one to stretcher out Roman Reigns, and therefore we're going to have an Australian street fight. What? This is the kind of thing, Mike, that just drives me up the wall because there's no continuity. There's no logic. We're just throwing things at the wall because this is in Australia, because Bronson Reed is going home.
I forgot about that.
Yeah.
All about that.
He's the hometown, he's the hometown guy. And so apparently he's never lost an Australian street fight in Australia. I wonder if he's ever had an Australian street fight in Australia. I don't know. I really don't care. I just want to figure out what is the difference between a street fight, a Chicago street fight, and an Australian street fight, other than your geolocation.
I figured it out.
What's that?
The ring moves in reverse down there.
Possibly. So maybe there's going to be wallabies and kangaroos involved. I don't know.
Maybe a boomerang or two. Didgeridoo.
Yeah, this needs to be boomeranged. This needs to be is what it needs to be. That just really got under my skin that I was actually beginning to think, well, maybe I will wake up at 8 a.m. on Saturday and watch Crown Jewel. Now I'm not. I'll catch it later on down the road because, Roman Reigns was taken out for the first time in his career on a stretcher. Therefore, we're going to have a street fight. Whatever. Here's the other thing. So we also saw on Raw no, not the Wise Man anymore. It's the Oracle. I wonder if they've copywritten that, because isn't there a company called Oracle?
I was wondering, yeah, they're a vacuum cleaner, I think.
The Oracle, the Wise Man, the Walrus, Paul Heyman.
Walrus.
Hey, I mean that with all respect in the world. I love Paul Heyman. Love what he's done. But here's the thing, we're starting to see Seth Rollins now in this match with Cody Rhodes saying, I have to win. Heyman comes in. What if I lose? Paul, you're not going to lose. What if I lose? Paul, what if I lose? And then we get this. If you lose this match, Braun Breaker, Bronson Reed are going to question why they even followed you. And so what about you, Paul? Well, I have to ask myself the same question. I have to ask myself the question, why did I choose you over Roman Reigns? Why are we going down this road, Mike? Why are we even introducing this unless Seth is going to lose, unless the vision is going to be no more? And if we're headed down the road where we've got the bloodline with Jey Uso now being propped up by Roman Reigns, which is where we're headed, whether people want it to be or not, it's just regurgitated storylines. If you're going to do that, then please take Paul Heyman with you down that road, because the bloodline does not work without Paul Heyman as the Wise Man. I just don't believe it does. Second thing is, I had so much hope for this group when Becky Lynch joined. I thought we were going to see the power couple of the WWE. I thought it was going to be dominating, Seth Rollins dominating the male side, Becky dominating the female side. Instead, Becky's losing in a 10 count to Maxine Dupree, and all she does is whine.
Wait, 10 count? Were they boxing? I thought wrestling was a 3 count. What's this 10 count thing?
Well, she got, I know, right? You can't get. You telling me that you're an accomplished multiple-time world champion, the Intercontinental champion, and you don't know to get back into the ring before a 10 count? I mean, it brutal. It was just brutal. And by the way, we also had a missed 3 count in that match that didn't happen again. Wasn't quite as bad as what we saw on SmackDown, but it definitely was a 3. Becky did not kick out in time. Should have been counted at 3. The match should have ended right there. I'm watching for those now.
But was that the same ref? Do we know, Jody?
No, it was not. It was not.
Okay.
It was not the same ref. And I probably was a little hard on that referee and probably a little hard on this referee too, because they have been given their orders not to count the 3 anymore, unless it's the actual ending of the match, and it just puts them in a bad spot, especially when wrestlers miss. But Becky Lynch is just going on and on and on backstage, running her mouth while Seth Rollins looks there staring off into space like an emancipated, defeated husband, while she's just griping and complaining, and it's just a sad commentary. This is not what I wanted for this group. It's another example of creative just botching this whole thing. This is not the dominant group that I needed.
Maybe, but what if they're more dominant without Seth and they do it this way? Some of our viewers will remember a long time ago there was a Cactus Jack segment where he, quote, lost his memory, unquote. Somebody hit Seth with
soap operas.
Somebody hit Seth with a chair or something, banged his little head. He's out for a couple of weeks. He comes back and he doesn't know who he is, where he is, or anything else. Sorry, Beth.
Oh man, I just, I wouldn't be surprised. These are the days of our WWE. The days of our Falls Count Anywhere are going to continue. Right after this break, we're going to come back and we're going to talk about, Mike, the very first actual wrestling show of Ephesians Pro Wrestling. We saw the documentary week 1. We saw some matches on Saturday night. We're going to talk about them right after this. Hello, wrestling fans. The gentleman Jody Powell here, and you may be wondering, where in the world did WFC go? Right here. We're on YouTube, our very own channel at Wrestling for Christ WFC. I want you to open your YouTube app. I want you to click on the search function. Type in Wrestling for Christ WFC, all one word, and boom! That's exactly what you'll see. Smash that subscribe button so you'll be notified when new episodes of Saturday Night Praise and Power Hour are loaded up to YouTube. Also coming soon are going to be exclusive interviews, promos. I might even cut a promo myself. Talk about how Dilly Dollar swings a chair like a girl. All this and more coming up, fans, right here on our YouTube channel. Check it out. Wrestling for Christ WFC, every episode ever made of Saturday Night Praise and Power Hour, right there at your fingertips. Check it out. Welcome back, fans, to Falls Count Anywhere. And last Saturday night, right here on Abundant TV, we saw Ephesians Pro Wrestling Saturday Night Battleground, and 3 great matches, Mike. I got to say, the first match right off the bat was just a fantastic match. I think Aiden the Dragon versus Bam Bam Malone. I've been wanting to see Bam Bam Malone. I've heard some things, and he did not disappoint. But I was really impressed with the young kid, Aiden the Dragon. Came out with a lot of energy. Gave Bam Bam Malone an incredible match. In the end, Malone was able to score the pin on a super kick while Aiden the Dragon was flying off the top rope. He caught him in midair with a super kick. And what do you know? A super kick that actually produced a pin.
Whoa.
This is old school wrestling.
I enjoyed it a lot. Just the ground and pound. Well, not a whole lot because one of them was flying through the air, but the actual concept that you could hit somebody while they're on the ground, it just looked different than WWE does.
Yeah, it does. It brings you back to a traditional wrestling feel. And you know, I like I said, I love the fact that that Bam Bam Malone got the pin with a super kick. We've talked about that before. The super kick and how it's been relegated in the WWE, and it just breaks my heart. Then we saw the World Tag Team Champions. Been waiting for this one. I mean, we're talking about the Heartbreak Outlaws, this ragtag team thrown together by the tournament where they've just placed people together.
Like the old
Hillbilly Outlaw.
No, I was trying to think what they did in NWA or WCW back in the day. That random
it was like
draw
a roulette or something, wasn't it? Yeah, exactly. In this case, the tactician Ryan Hart, who is not all that happy about being in this tag team with the Hillbilly Outlaw, but they did go on win the tag team titles, and they defended against the Prophecy. This group of 4 men. And the Prophecy, of course, their team was Cody Gray and JG Turner, and 4-on-2, Mike, traditional horseman rules here. But at the end of the day, the Heartbreak Outlaws coming out on top, thanks primarily to the tactician Ryan Hart. But we did get a worm sighting. The Hillbilly Outlaw did the worm. Fantastic.
I don't care what group it is, who's doing it. The worm is something that needs to disappear from professional wrestling.
Oh, no. You haven't seen the Hillbilly Outlaw do the worm.
Dude, listen to me and listen to what I'm about to say. Even more than women wrestling, even more than Rey Mysterio Jr., the worm has to go.
Oh, my goodness, Mike.
No offense to Hillbilly, but especially Hillbilly. I mean, come on, man. You live down in the South. I used to live down in the South. Ain't nobody down in that holler whenever the hootenanny starts going to be breakdancing on the floor and doing the worm in the middle of the floor dance.
But you haven't seen HBO and his dance parties, man.
Apparently not.
In the ring. It's fantastic. And then a title change in the main event. We've got a new Texas champion, the Warhawk, Kurt Castle. Came and I'm telling you, when this guy walked out, I had not seen Kurt Castle before. I had not seen the Warhawk before. He walked through the curtain, and I was like, "Ooh, great look." I mean, just in tremendous shape. Came into the match. Omega, who was the Texas champion, he stood over Omega, probably about 2 feet taller. Omega's a really stout young guy, but he's short. I'm gonna tell you, he's short, man. And in the end, it was the Warhawk, Kurt Castle, that got the win. But then that wasn't enough for the Warhawk. He started pounding on Omega after the match, just beating him down. And then it was Langley that came out and made the save. I'd not seen this young man either. He comes out and makes the save, but then he's kind of made the save. He didn't take on the Warhawk. I mean, they weren't fighting. He was just kind of pulling him off of him, saying, "Hey, man, that's enough. And then all of a sudden, the hero of the people, Aaron Eagle, comes out. And Aaron Eagle comes out to the ring for no other purpose than to be the hero of Omega, pick him up, carry him over his shoulder into the back. And then at the very end of the night, we saw Langley confront Aaron Eagle. And it turns out those two will be going one-on-one this Saturday night on Saturday Night Battleground. So check it out right here on Abundant TV, 6 p.m. Saturday night, Ephesians Pro Wrestling. They also had a wonderful testimony that was given by Aiden the Dragon right there at the end as well. Love to see that. Really good start. Tip of the cap, Mr. Kyle. Well done, my friend. But yeah, looking forward to seeing the next episode of EPW right here on Abundant TV, Saturday night, 6 p.m. Saturday Night Battleground. Well, fans, speaking of battles, coming up next on Falls Count Anywhere, our favorite segment, we're going to talk about the battles that Christians face in this broken world, Mike, right here on Finding Tomorrow. That'll be right after the break. Stay tuned.
You don't have to fight in the ring to know what it takes to rise after a crushing blow, to stand tall when the world seems to close in. Our mission is simple at Ephesians Pro Wrestling, to cultivate a community that stands strong together, because Scripture reminds us that we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against powers and principalities in the darkness. Our heart is this, that we stand alongside you wherever you are, and wherever you're watching, from city streets to distant shores. We're fighting this fight beside you. Our hope is to bring truth to all who see and hear what we stand for, that you too can face your battles with determination and strength through Jesus Christ.
Welcome back, viewers. To our favorite part of the show is Jody and I always saying, as we're taping this, Jody, I don't know how many of our fans know. I'm hoping that our fans know either through the news or, quite frankly, as I've talked about on hearing on other places, that their pastors by now have talked to them on Sunday at the very least. There was signed a tentative peace agreement between Israel and Hamas finally. Hostages are supposed to be home. I think by now, by the time that our show airs, during the time difference for Israel and whatnot, it's supposed to be sometime between 2 and 3 a.m. local time, but the hostages are home. And, you know, we do this and we're like, we're doing it on faith. You say, Mike, it's been done. Paperwork's done. Well, yeah, but several months ago, the Hamas people, wow, I have to be very, very careful. The Hamas people sent the wrong bodies back in coffins. This is more than trust but verify. This is, I want them all out. But Jody and the Breakthrough and I were talking about, you know, how does this, is this a specific prophecy, or how does it line up with what's happening and what might happen? And there's a verse over here in Ezekiel 37. It's verse 7, I believe it is, or 38:7. Sorry, 38, chapter 38, verse 7. And for the viewers, this is spoken by Ezekiel to a leader in the future called Gog, G-O-G, of a land called Magog. Hit me up or hit Jody up in the email down here, and I'll be happy to answer any questions you want me to. But here's the thing. It says, get ready, talking to God, be prepared, you and all the hordes gathered about you, and take command of them. After many days, you will be called to arms. In future years, you'll invade a land that has recovered from war, whose people were gathered from many nations to the mountains of Israel, which had long been desolate. They had been brought out from the nations, and now all of them live in safety. You and all your troops and the many nations with you will go up, advancing like a storm. You will be like a cloud covering the land. All that said, Jody, it's peace in the Middle East, yes, hopefully, at least temporarily. But if this is truly the end of Hamas, at least for now, I don't think Ezekiel 38's been set up any better in history. And all that shows at the end. And it's a huge part of our finding tomorrow, hopefully on all our broadcasts, but is that God's faithful.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what it looks like, doesn't matter what you're seeing, what you're hearing, what's happening to you or anything else. God is behind the scenes. He has a plan, and he will make it work. But then, Jody, at the end, whenever we were on break, you were asking about what does that mean for us? So what? Prophecies fulfilled at the end. So what? We're closer to the end. What does that mean? So, you know what? What are your thoughts? What were you trying to?
Well, you know, a lot of times I think we get really caught up in some of the minutia of end times prophecy. and we begin to argue over things that are kind of not meaningless, but trivial. For example, do you believe in a pre-tribulation, a mid-tribulation, or post-tribulation rapture? Do you believe in the rapture at all? And a lot of people say, "What do you mean? That's not trivial. That's important." Listen, Jesus is coming back. That I think we can all agree on as believers. It's plain as day. Does he come back for his bride and then his bride come with him during pre-tribulation rapture, or does it happen as he is coming back? How it happens, that is kind of trivial, because the fact is that it's going to happen. And we, as Christians, as the bride, need to be vigilant and watching for these things. That's why we take interest in things that are happening in the Middle East. That's why we take interest in studying books like Ezekiel and Daniel and the Revelation, all of these things that are pushing us towards this event that's going to happen. How I interpret how that's going to happen is irrelevant, because it's going to happen the way God planned it to happen. And so my job, while I can think about and study and should study and prepare for the way that I think it's going to happen, what I should most prepare for is to be vigilant and to be looking and to be ready however Christ decides to come back. That's how you find tomorrow. It's not that we need to understand every detail. That wouldn't be faith, Mike. That'd be facts. Faith is trusting that God, as you said, is behind this and is orchestrating this and has everything in the palm of his hands, in control. That's where we put our faith. That's where we put our hope. That's where we find tomorrow, is that tomorrow God has that whole day plan for each and every one of us. And we have to trust that plan, even when it feels like that plan is working against us.
That'll preach. End times or not, that'll preach, kiddo. So yeah, I know there's at least one other thing we want to talk about before we go off the air here. But yeah, prophecy is not meant to scare us. It's meant to prepare us. As Jody said, we're supposed to be ready, right? As Christmas comes closer and closer, you do more stuff. You buy presents, you wrap presents, you put up the tree. Okay, Christmas is a bad comparison, but all I'm saying is we're getting close. Think about it the way Christ did, as the birth of a child. Gotta pack your mom's bag, gotta put the doctor on call, gotta do all this, and then you're ready to go. Folks, I think it's time to call a doctor. But anyway, on a more serious note, and unfortunately speaking still of doctors, Jody, you had something you wanted to share with our viewers.
Yeah, I do, and it's about a dear friend, a friend of this show, someone that I've met before and had the pleasure of interviewing, Bobby Horn, also known as Sir Mo from Men on a Mission. We covet your prayers for Bobby. At the time of the recording of this show, he is fighting for his life in ICU. And, Bobby is a God-fearing Christian man who has had so many illnesses and things in his life that he's had to deal with. So please, fans, just keep Sir Mo from Men on a Mission in your prayers. I just pray right now that the Lord would touch him and heal him if it be his will. We're praying for Mo and his family during this time. So keep that in mind. Keep that in your thoughts and your prayers as you go through your prayer list. Something else to keep in mind is that coming up next is Chris Whaley, Jeff Dixon and the Clash, right here on Abundant TV. Fans, do lift Bobby Horn and his family up to the Lord in prayer tonight. I'm praying for you, Sir Mo.